A jury convicted Greg Davis in 2017 murder of Carrie Davis. They have the same last name but are not related. Greg Davis stabbed his ex-girlfriend more than 20 times in their Marion home.
And actually, crews I just spoke to say they expect to go into the early morning hours to put out this fire. Again, I'll step out of the way so you can take a look here. Still a very active situation. You can see fire crews spraying through the roof of the building.
And renters can still take part in the city's single stream recycling program. It just needs to be in smaller boxes like this one. And the city will pick it up once a week.
Now take a look at behind me. This is a part of a home, the roof to be specific here, and that belongs to this pink home behind me here. And it wasn't just the roof, they also lost a chunk of their patio. I spoke to one of the women living inside of here, and she tells me it's just been an emotional afternoon. So let's do first for people that, maybe they didn't wake up with us early this morning and maybe are just getting out of bed now, or they were dealing with kids and stuff. Let's give them a run through of what happened overnight.
And joining me live now is Senator Joni Ernst, and you told me just a couple minutes ago it is really important for your job that Governor Reynolds maintains that seat. Is that correct? As we were driving to this scene, you could actually see this along Highway 100, just black smoke pouring out right now.
X's like that one behind me mean that people should not go beyond that wall or really even inside that home. So people that are allowed to live in this neighborhood tell me they're just thankful they have a safe place to stay each night. I spoke to a few of Molly Tibbetts' friends today, friends that help put out posters with Molly's information all throughout town here. And now they say because of today's news, they are going to change some of their daily routines.
Alexis Morrison first met Molly Tibbetts in the 8th grade.
We ran our whole high school and middle school career together.
They were competitors. Molly ran for BGM High School and Alexis for Montezuma schools. Alexis says she always looked forward to races against Molly.
We were always right by each other during every race.
It didn't matter who won. What mattered was personal bests, and the two encouraged each other.
Pray together and stuff before every race to help each other.
Morrison and her family are still in disbelief what happened to Molly Tibbetts.
Her folks did everything they could to make sure she was prepared and educated and okay, and it just a senseless act that was done to her. He might have taken her away from us for, future celebrations, but he'll never take that smile away.
The family says they'll focus on their memories with Molly.
She's just a beautiful girl.
But the lifelong runner says this situation has changed her routines. Morrison says she'll take some precautions before heading out on the trails throughout Poweshiek County.
My husband actually just got me a taser because I'm training for half marathon, and it's really scary just to go out there.
Jordee, you talked exclusively with Mueller and his father about their lawsuit. What'd they say?
Yes, and ideally the Mueller family would like to get all of these scholarships awarded back to the students. And while the Mueller family says they can absorb the cost of losing this scholarship, they're suing the university for the families that can't.
Ben Mueller wasn't always set on attending the University of Iowa, but he says the UI made an offer.
Too good to be true.
As an economics major, he likes the school's program. What he liked even more was paying less than $1,000 a year in tuition.
Meet certain standards, but as long as you do that, I had no reason to believe it was at risk.
Not the case, as last Thursday the university cut the Heritage Scholarship. For students like Ben, it means losing about $1,500 in tuition.
He's worked hard through high school, and he's worked hard since he's been here. And the kids held up their end of the bargain.
With help from Des Moines-based law firm Wandro and Associates, Mueller sued the UI. The suit claims stripping away scholarships violate the 5th and 14th constitutional amendments.
It's a taking. This is the property of the students. It doesn't belong to the university. It's already been committed.
And the Muellers claim there's another legal issue with the fine print. They say the original scholarship had no clause allowing the university to take the money back. But an email sent to Ben Mueller last week now states the university could.
I went onto this internet archiving tool and discovered that that URL had been changed from the one that they had sent him last April. So the original one didn't have that language at all.
Other UI students echoed that sentiment.
When I received that 2 years ago, over 2 years ago now, that wasn't a condition that was ever told, was ever signed upon or agreed upon.
Madison Davenport is a sophomore at Iowa who chose the university based on the scholarships.
Deciding between going in-state or out-of-state. And out-of-state was obviously socially and more, I get to explore, go other places for college. But staying at the university and staying in Iowa City, at the end of the day, when looking at the numbers financially, it was just way smarter.
Without these funds, many students say they wouldn't go to Iowa, and now Ben Mueller questions whether he'll stay.
I've been talking with my parents a little bit about ISU and similar schools, but, nothing's decided for now.
Now, I did reach out to the University of Iowa. Officials there again say that they are taking away these scholarships because of state cuts from the budget.
I wonder if we're bent too tight.
Attention to each detail. Bruce Newell says each prosthetic needs to fit comfortably.
Does it hurt on that side?
No. 6-year-old Jack Williams is in for his third fitting. Together, they're making this arm a perfect fit.
We could put the Velcro under this.
Put the Velcro under it, you think?
Yeah.
We can try that.
Jack's arm is just the latest in the more than 100 prosthetics Newell's made. Newell's production became so large, he even opened up a shop in the basement of Waterloo's Goodwill store.
I have been printing out of my garage, which, it wasn't real nice, but it did work.
After retiring, Newell says he began to notice how many children don't have arms or hands. That reason alone made him want to help.
I got to watch myself. When you see them get a hand on and they see them move it or something like that and they've never had it, it'll bring tears to your eyes. I can guarantee that.
Kiddos like Jack, who lost his arm at just 1 month old.
He was a premature baby and he had a sore on his arm. We didn't know what that was. It ended up that there was a clot in his armpit, impeding blood flow into that arm.
Is that better?
The Williams contacted Newell about 3 weeks ago. In just that short time, he created this arm.
Can you turn your arm enough to do that?
Newell says this prosthetic will be ready to use in just a few days.
We'll get it for you yet, I promise you that.
Then this rambunctious 6-year-old will be ready with both arms for summer.
A front flip with 2 hands.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock on Sunday, February 3rd. Here's a foggy look at our Cedar Rapids City Cam, and here's what you need to know today. One community gathers together to support a little girl with a very rare condition. We'll tell you why the dollars donated means so much to her family. And this weekend's weather may be warming up, but area restaurants are still feeling the impacts from that polar vortex.
And it's a foggy start for many in eastern Iowa. I'll show you when this damp weather moves out in your first alert forecast.
Now, from your 24-hour news source, this is the KCRG TV9 Weekend Morning News.
I know you warned us about it yesterday, but that fog is incredible. And we were just talking before the show as I drove into work today on Interstate 380. It's a little touch and go at times, just slow traffic, which is good for safety, of course.
Yes, yeah, it makes things trickier, especially this time of day where it's still dark. I think it's tougher to see in the fog in the dark than during the daytime. So
I would agree.
Yeah, especially if you have early morning travel to do, it'll make things a little bit worse. Dense fog advisory in effect for most of the TV9 viewing area. One exception down in the far south toward Mount Pleasant. But the rest of us will be included in that until noon Sunday. Wouldn't be shocked if this got extended past noon at times, though we could see some improvement by this afternoon as we maybe turn toward a little bit more in the way of showers than just some of this fog. Visibility is generally a quarter mile, half mile or less in many spots in the southeastern quarter, let's say, the viewing area, Iowa City at 6 miles right now. I wouldn't expect that to be as clear as it looks there for the entire day. Temperatures, though, not too bad. Upper 30s, low 40s to start the day off. I don't know when the last time we had temperatures this warm to start a day was, and I mean, I guess we'll take it. I know I heard water dripping off my roof all last night as snow continued to melt through the overnight hours. Dense fog will linger through the day, and then, like I said, a chance of light showers as you head into the afternoon and evening. We'll have a sharp drop in temperatures later in the day on Monday. We'll detail that in a little bit, but for now, your Zonecast for today has temperatures in the mid to upper 40s by this afternoon, with that chance of showers and that fog continuing.
It's so nice out, though. I mean, despite the fog, it's just a great day.
Yeah. It's very sloppy, though.
Yeah, so be careful, I guess.
It's very sloppy. I wouldn't say, it's not getting, the roads aren't dangerous, but just, for people that like the look of snow, we're getting into that brown snow now, where it's like everything splashes.
It has to happen eventually, though.
I guess, yeah. Transition's rough.
Thank you, Court. Powerful rain fell across California this weekend, with some places expecting up to 6 inches of rain. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department issued mandatory evacuations for some areas that were also damaged from recent wildfires. Some drivers there also found themselves in waist-deep water. In Santa Barbara County, powerful winds toppled a huge tree onto an apartment complex. And new this morning, at least one deputy is dead and another is wounded after a standoff. It began last night in Claremont County, Ohio. The injured deputy was taken to a local hospital and is in stable condition. The names of the people involved have not yet been released. A Cedar Rapids business owner says last week's brutal cold cost him a lot of money. The Pig and Porter restaurant in the Nubo district shut down Wednesday because of the weather. When employees got back Thursday, they realized a motor in the ventilation system was not working. The restaurant won't be open the rest of this weekend. One of its owners says being closed for nearly a week has put a big dent in their business.
Think of that being a 25% sales of your month, basically, so pretty substantial.
Owners hope to open the restaurant up sometime next week. An 11-year-old girl from Shellsburg is on her way back to stable health, and yesterday her community gathered to show support for the family. Here you can see Lainey Robertson greeting people at Oak Grove Church near Shellsburg. It was a day-long party, and the money raised went to the family to help cover medical bills. Lainey was born with a chromosome disorder and is often in and out of the hospital. Now, she had spinal surgery last summer, and that led to a series of complications. But now, about 7 months later, she's almost back to full health. Her mom says the 11-year-old was happy to be around her friends and family yesterday.
She's doing better. She just got a G-tube placed the other day, which is a tube in her belly, and that's how we feed her. She is able to take some stuff through orally, but she mostly gets her food through the belly. And so we're getting used to that. We just got over an infection in that.
The church will continue to accept donations for the family even after yesterday's benefit. This Washington County man is facing assault charges after authorities say he threw his mom into a snowdrift and injured her. 39-year-old Nicholas Furman is charged with domestic assault, displaying a dangerous weapon, and interference with official acts. The woman went to a hospital and police took Furman to jail. And this Keokuk County man faces charges after authorities say he fraudulently received 26 weeks worth of unemployment benefits. A criminal complaint says 39-year-old John Clubb collected nearly $13,000 in benefits from June 2016 to April 2017. Prosecutors say he was employed at the time. Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown held a meet and greet at a Dubuque cafe yesterday. Political analysts say the Ohio Democrat is strongly considering a presidential run. This week, Brown described the policy of Medicare for all as impractical, but he officially clarified his position yesterday.
The first thing we should do is pass Medicare at 55 or at 50. I can debate that. Giving people those choices is the beginning step, and it will show the public how well Medicare and expanded Medicare can work.
If Brown does decide to run, he would join a very diverse and large pool of Democrats eyeing the presidency. The field already has 2 black candidates and 5 women. The recent partial government shutdown is being blamed for some mixed numbers in the U.S. economy. The U.S. Labor Department claims the economy added more than 300,000 jobs in the month of January alone. Analysts call last month's rise surprisingly strong. Officials do say the shutdown contributed to an unemployment rise, but say there were no impacts on hiring and wages. January marked the 100th straight month of job gains in the U.S. Apple finally has some good news for iPhone users. After a FaceTime malfunction, the company says the app will be safe to use again in just a few days.